At least in Europe, the progress was easier to measure. Around the Colosseum rolled Allied tanks and trucks as the Eternal City fell at last. For all who had experienced the long, bitter march from the south, from Sicily and Messina, this was a great moment indeed. But for Rome's fascists, retribution was as swift as we hoped it might be one day in Paris. But by and large, this is not a tale of Rome, but two other cities. The one, Paris, the swastika flying over the Eiffel Tower. The other, not so far away, London. And that's where the tale of two cities begins. In London, on the 6th of June 1944. On that day, all who could get their hands on newspapers read the news for which they had been waiting so long, that now it had come. It was barely to be believed, yet there it was, in black and white, the news of action. Action that brought out in many a French village arms from the barn and rifles from the straw. Action that rekindled the flame that had never at any time showed signs of dying. Yes, there they were, off the sands of Normandy and the mine-sown grass of Calvados. And Eisenhower's was the face that had launched 4,000 ships. From these ships, men, guns, tanks, and every device that brains could conceive to break down an Atlantic war. Welcome, John Doe from Kansas. Welcome, Charlie Hardcastle from Manchester. Welcome, Harry Smith from Toronto. 4 years we have waited for you to come, but better late, oh so much better late than never. Bienvenue, Monty. That's a big jump nearer to finishing your job. Brought to bear on the wall, the greatest crowbar ever. For behind its thrust was the production, sweat and brains of so many millions of free peoples. The power of the Axis might be great, but not as great as this. Sister Anne, can you see anyone coming? And so the wall was cracked. It had been victory in the shallows, and victory too in the fields where wrecked gliders showed where the very first had broken in. Well done, and welcome, welcome indeed. Then, even in the midst of rejoicing, retaliation. Over the white cliffs of Dover comes a new and unfamiliar sound, a sound that makes southern England look up from its shores inquiringly into the sky. Doodlebug, flying bomb, V1, the secret weapon that was to prove that Fortress Europa was no mean expression. Only the Tempests, fastest fighters in the Royal Air Force, could get near them. And after the fighters, the attack, with no power to weave, a target for gunners in a million. When one was shot down, it was examined for its secrets, and it was found pilotless and deadly. Deadly because whatever the fine efforts of guns and fighters, many got through to their target, the biggest in the world, London. Somewhere over your head it ran out of fuel, and then there was silence. And then the tale of a city that had in the past borne so much of such suffering, yet was now prepared to endure again because it was only a question of time. So London went on being the same wartime London, a home for the many. But out went the children to the country, break up the family, pull up the tree by the roots. But it was still the best thing to do. Soulless and deadly. If London cracked, the invasion might crack. And this London could not allow, come what may. And so the city settled once again to its underground life of the earlier blitzes, for night after night. A tale of two cities, the one city fighting back for the other. Only a question of time.